Hey, this is Tyler Posey from the new movie Truth or Dare, and I'm going to be playing the Scary Story Challenge with 17.com. Ooh. The premise of this is I'm going to be reading these scary stories in these envelopes, and I have to basically say whether it's a true or a fake story. 1. Blood. Spooky! A family was thrilled to be moving into their new $1.3 million dream home. That is, until they started receiving creepy letters from someone who called themselves the Watcher. The Watcher sent letters asking if the owners had children. They did. And asked if they had found what's in the walls yet. Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested? Once I know their names, I will call to them and draw them to me, the Watcher wrote. I am pleased to know your names now and the name of the young blood you have brought to me, he wrote in another letter. With no escape from their torment in sight, the family never moved into the house. With the Watcher still at large, they were unable to sell it, and it stands empty to this day. That's so scary. I'm gonna say this is true. This is true. This is real. This took place in Westfield, New Jersey. The Westfield Watcher, he was called, gained national attention, making it nearly impossible to sell a home. Okay, here we go. Scary story number 2. I'm a little scared. On a cold night in 1887, 2 sailors found themselves without a place to stay on Christmas Eve. Oh. They decided to crash in an empty house on Berkeley Street in London. Later that night, after the sailors had fallen asleep, one was awoken suddenly by the sound of his friend struggling nearby. What he saw when his eyes adjusted to the dark struck him with fear. His friend was being strangled to death by a dark, formless shape with hideous tendrils. He fled the house in terror and returned with a police officer, only to find the mangled body of his friend crushed on the ground outside the house. He had been thrown from the 2nd floor window. Is this story true or not? I don't think this one's real. Why would his friend just leave him? And they're sailors. Sailors are supposed to be badass, right? Here we go. And this one is fake! Urban legend started by an author named Elliot O'Donnell based on a house that was owned by a recluse named Mr. Myers. I want to hear Mr. Myers' story. That guy sounds creepy. Like Michael Myers. Do I believe in ghosts? I used to when I was younger, and then I was like, maybe ghosts aren't ghosts. Maybe they're just like trapped in a different dimension, so maybe they're not here. I don't know. Yeah, why not? Those are fun. See what we got here. Look at that blood. That's real blood, by the way. Yep, real blood. Ooh! Doesn't taste very good. A Canadian student visiting the US mysteriously disappeared after being seen for the last time in the lobby of a Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. A hotel with a history of strange deaths and murders. I know this story! Okay, this is actually the scariest story. You can't even think of something this scary. This is the scariest story, and this is true, by the way, before I even get through the entire thing. This is a true story. The only hint left behind that could lead to finding her was security footage filmed of the woman behaving strangely in the hotel elevator, seemingly interacting with invisible people, hiding in the corner of the elevator, and continuously stepping in and out without the elevator doors closing. The strangest part is the elevator doors remained open without anyone setting off the motion sensors. They just stayed open, which doesn't happen in elevators. Soon after, unsuspecting hotel residents started complaining about their shower water running black and their tap tasting sickly sweet. The complaints led a hotel employee to go to the roof and check the water tank, where they found the woman's decomposing body. And the scariest part about that is that you can't access that water tower or tank unless you're a hotel employee. So how the hell do you open that? How do you get in that? This is a true story. I've done research on this. My friend told me this a couple years ago and I freaked out. This is real. This is real. Her name was Elisa Lamb. I know everything there is to know about the story. Disappeared on January 31st, 2013, and her death was ruled accidental. Some believe she gained access to the roof through the fire escape, but the circumstances of her death is still shrouded in mystery. I suggest that people do not research this story because it is true and very frightening, and the scariest part about it is that there are only a couple possibilities as to how this happened, and each one is frightening. Literally, each one is scary. So I don't like that story at all. I feel so bad for that poor girl. Okay, number 4, here we go, let's move on. What is this? A group of friends spring breaking in Mexico were having a blast at a local bar when a mysterious stranger convinces them to move their festivities to an abandoned church nearby. While there, he convinces them to play a harmless game of truth or dare. But things soon turn dark. When the friends return home from spring break, they realize the game of truth or dare had followed them home. Someone or something begins possessing their friends and making them reveal deep, dark secrets that could ruin their friendships or daring them to take life-threatening risks. They have no choice but to play because if they don't do a dare or tell a lie, they die a gruesome death. This is oh so real. Oh. Obviously fake, I guess. But the plot of your new movie, Truth or Dare! Out Friday the 13th, Blumhouse's Truth or Dare, starring Lucy Hale and some named Tyler Posey. Okay, number 5. Let's see. In the 80s, there was a video game in an arcade in Portland that controlled its players' minds. The game brought people to the arcade in droves with lines going up and down the block. Whenever anyone played the game, they became obsessed with it. So much that fights would break out in the arcade. The game was like a drug so powerful that players would experience seizures and hallucinations. It wasn't until kids started falling into comas and dying before a group of mysterious men in black came to take the game away forever. This is evidence that there is some crazy stuff going on in our government. Please be real. No! This is fake. The existence of the game has never been proven, so there's a possibility of it being real. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's real. Okay, this is number 6. Okay, still blood. Now the scariest part about this is the fear of getting a paper cut. On November 13th, 1974, a 23-year-old Ronald Defoe murdered his parents and his 4 brothers and sisters in their beds. Defoe was sentenced to 150 years in prison. About a year later, a new family moved into the house, foolishly believing they could handle the morbid history of the home. Almost immediately, they were terrorized by paranormal occurrences. When they invited a priest to bless the house, the priest felt an unseen hand slap him, heard a voice say, "Get out." Strange odors came and went. There were mysterious sounds. The front door slammed shut at all hours of the night, and no matter how hot they burned their fireplace, nobody could keep warm. Just 28 days after they moved in, the family fled the house, leaving their clothes in their closets and food in the refrigerator, fearing that the paranormal forces occupying the house would soon hurt them for real. Please be fake. This is a really scary story, but I kind of think that it's true. Oh God, this is real. The true story of the Defoe murders and the Amityville haunting in New York. This is the Amityville horror? Oh my God. This is so scary. Okay, baby, lucky number 7. There was once an old woman who lived deep, deep in the woods, and no one in the surrounding village dared bother her because they thought she was an evil witch. When the town's daughters began disappearing, they immediately suspected her because with every disappearance, the woman's haggard appearance turned more vibrant and youthful. One morning, a miller, which is somebody who works in the mill, woke up to find his daughter leaving the house, following a voice only that she could hear. The miller followed his daughter and found the witch luring the girl to her. The miller alerted the townspeople and they captured the witch and burned her in a bonfire, but not before she placed a curse on the town. From then on, anyone who dared chant her name 3 times into the mirror in a darkened room would summon the spirit of the witch, and she'd tear the bodies to pieces and rip their souls from their mutilated bodies. They called her Bloody Mary. This is a game. You go into the mirror in a darkened room, you stare at yourself in the mirror, turn the lights off, and you say Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary 3 times. And if you turn the lights on, she is there. Fake. Legend believed to be started by the real phenomena that staring into a mirror in a dimly lit room for a prolonged period of time can cause one to hallucinate. That I have done. Thanks guys for listening to those scary stories. Make sure you subscribe to 17's YouTube. And then I have a movie coming out called Truth or Dare on April 13th, Friday the 13th. Makes it that much scarier. Please go see it. You'll love it. It's funny, it's scary. Go and check out my movie. Thanks guys. Bye.